Charlamagne. We always want to bring Charlamagne to the front of the congregation because for some reason he decided to divest himself, and I'm going to read Cash App shortly. He decided to divest himself against speaking mainly about radio and embarrassing Lil Mama, and he decides he wants to play in a political world like Stephen A. Smith. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
One of the most listened to voices on the airwaves, Charlamagne the God, was an outspoken Harris supporter after she replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee. I've spoken with him several times as this race unfolded, and after Election Day, I returned to his New York studio for his reaction to Trump's victory and what it means for the country. So, look, this was obviously not the result you wanted, but I've heard you say you're optimistic today. Why?
Because I have no choice but to be. You know, I'm an American. I live in America. I'm not one of these people that's out here saying, oh, my God, if Donald Trump becomes president again, I'm going to move. Where am I going?
Yeah. Because you voted for him. Because you don't disagree with his policy. Because you actually like Donald Trump. Y'all not going to fool me. You can't fool me. What I know for sure, one thing is for sure, two things is for certain, is that these people that are pretending, I call them the great pretenders. And the reason that I call them the great pretenders is because they're not against the policies and Republicans. They're very much conservative. I, honest to God, believe that they are very much conservative and that they actually agree with Donald Trump, but they can't go against their friendship. They can't go against their bag, and they can't go against the thing that they've always championed. And instead of them being honest and saying, hey, listen, I was wrong. I actually support what Trump says. I roll with conservative policies, and I was proved wrong on every front, from Byron Donalds to Jill Stein. I've been wrong. To Laura Trump coming up there and reading me the Riot Act, I was wrong. But instead of them admitting that so that they can save face and then ultimately be looked at as a real influencer and a champion of the culture, they continue to hold back and try to act like, oh man, I got it, where I'm going to go. You can go anywhere in the world. You can literally fly anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. You can do it. But nope, they got to stand on it. These are the great pretenders, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm here, and I do believe in the future of this country because I have no choice.
And his portfolio did
I think
probably
what the
level
Vice President said in her concession speech was right on point when she said, the light of America's promise still shines bright. I have no reason to feel otherwise. I'm gonna wake up, and just be all doom and gloom and tell everybody the world is ending. It's like, no, Americans went out there and it was a free and fair election. And they made a choice. And now we all have to deal with, the consequences.
He said he's optimistic. That has nothing to do with dealing with the consequences
of that choice. And whether we like it or not, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. I know it feels like the divided states of America over the last, several years, but it is still the United States of America. So that's what I'm looking for us to do. We got to unify in some way, shape, or form.
You were out there. I saw you at the convention in Chicago. You interviewed Kamala Harris a couple times. Were you surprised?
That she lost?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say surprised. Surprised isn't the word that I would use because it's a toss-up. It was going into the election.
It was never a toss-up. It was a wash. I called it from the beginning. The people right here on the Millionaire Morning Show, I said that if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I'll come back and I'll grovel at y'all feet. But it is going to be a landslide. And everybody was out here saying, oh, no, it's not going to be a landslide. Anton, I think you're wrong. People in the chat were saying, y'all can't wait for the Democrats to prove y'all wrong. Y'all going to have to go back. I said it's going to be a landslide. I said it's going to be, I stood on that. I said it on every channel. I screamed it at the mountaintops. I told Fox News it was going to be a landslide, that it wasn't even going to be close, that the whole country was going red. On the streets, this is what's happening. The polls, they wrong. I know what's happening on the streets. It's going to be a landslide. That's what I said. Wasn't no toss-up. Wasn't even close. Because it's going to be a toss-up. He won a popular vote against a Democrat. You know that's bad.
They were neck and neck. I think that she needs to get a lot more credit than she probably is going to get because the campaign was dead. You know, literally.
With Biden.
Oh, yeah, the campaign was dead with Biden. I know people make a lot of jokes about the whole Weekend at Bernie's thing, and they would say things like, I would vote for Biden if he was a corpse. Well, he damn near was. And, you know, there was no life whatsoever. And I think that the vice president made a lot of people sit up on the couch and pay attention and at least be curious. With Biden, everybody was just knocked out, sleep, gone.
I believe that Biden would have did a better job than Kamala Harris. I do. I don't think that he would have won. I still think that it would have been a landslide. I think that Biden would have did a better job than Kamala Harris. Nobody was going with that.
You lost?
No, I haven't, but I can't wait to.
What are you going to tell her?
I'm going to tell her I love her, I value her, I appreciate her, and, you know, whatever she plans to do moving forward, I'm going to always support her, and I'm going to say what I...
Anton, when you going on the Breakfast Club, you know they ain't going to extend no invitation. Man, let me tell you something. I seen Dr. Cheyenne Bryant on the Breakfast Club. You know they ain't going to never extend no invitation over to Anton Daniels with all of these criticisms that I have. No, hell no. Why would they do that? I got too many friends that they probably consider ops. And I don't need them.
You know, been saying on the radio and on my podcast that she has nothing to be ashamed about. You know, she ran a great campaign and only had 100 days to do it. Nobody thought she could even do.
So many excuses.
You know what it is that she did. Like,
so many excuses.
The first day, getting all the delegates in line. You know, raising the money that she raised. You know, digging the campaign out of a hole to where they were neck and neck on election day. And she inspired a lot of people.
Never neck and neck.
You know, I got 4 daughters, and my 9-year-old and my 6-year-old, when I'm watching, you know, This Week ABC on Sunday morning, or I'm watching CNN or Fox or MSNBC, they're coming in and they're asking me questions about Vice President Kamala Harris. And they were, are you going to vote for the Vice President, Daddy? Yes, I'm voting for the Vice President. And when she lost, they were...
Man, you know what my daughter says? You know what my daughter says? I don't know. She in school right now. It might not be conducive to call her. You know what my daughter say? Look at dad being a bad dad.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
She in school right now. You know what my daughter say? My daughter walk around with the Trump flag draped. She take a nap with her Trump flag on her. Y'all, oh, she said she just texted me, said she in school. Man, listen, I don't care about none of that. Y'all keep letting y'all kids and y'all daughters and y'all wives tell y'all what to do instead of being a leader in your household. And that's why y'all house is in shambles. Y'all house is in shambles. 100%. Daddy, are you going to vote for No, I ain't voting for her. What's wrong with you? But you ain't seen what we stand for inside of this household? Look, I'm not for those of you that may not know me, because a lot of you are new here, I am what you would call a benevolent dictator, meaning that my house votes as I vote. My house sees things as I see them. If they don't, then we need to have a conversation and a sit down, because I need to better understand where you're going with your life and where I failed as a parent. We are not a house divided. We are on the same page, and we are going to do this together, daughter included. Family meeting yesterday. Had a conversation with sitting there. Went through the whole house. Hey, went in my daughter's room. I said, this is clean, but is this a reflection of what I would say is clean? She said, you're right. I said, I'll be back in an hour. Came back in an hour. The room was what it was supposed to be. I don't know what y'all thinking. All these choices. You can't even determine what you're going to eat today unless I decide what you're going to eat for you. What you mean, are you voting for? No, the question you should have asked me is, who are we voting for, Father, and why? Am I voting for? Is you crazy?
Were upset that she was lost. So, you know, she did inspire a lot of people, and it was a historic campaign.
What do you make of the demographics here? I mean, Trump got 1 out of every 3 voters of color.
No.
Yeah.
1 out of
33%.
No. Really?
Yeah.
When you say color, you mean like black, brown, everything. Oh, well, I think that, you know, people have different issues that they care about, and I think that there's nobody out there that's a single issue voter. I think some of this is a backlash to race and gender and identity politics, but man, most people, they just care about keeping food on their table and keeping a roof over their head. And I think sometimes people forget about that. I think that they forget about, the working class. And for whatever reason, Donald Trump speaks to the grievances of the working class in a real way. And I keep telling folks, people will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And when you go...
Anton, what is a woman? I know y'all want me to do the XY chromosome conversation. It's very simple. I'm a C student. I'm a little slower than everybody else. A man is born with a penis. A woman is born with a coochie. That's what we used to say back in the day. Or you can say a vagina, if you want to just be politically correct. A man is born with a penis or a D, and a woman is born with a coochie or a vagina. That's it. Born with. That's it. No matter how you try to remix it, you can remix it. You can lay on your back. You can lay on your stomach. You can be a bottom. You can do whatever you want to do. That's how we described it when we was coming up. That's how we described it when we was coming up. I'm a C student. That's how we look at it. HBG slots. Am I the only person that used to say coochie when I was younger? See, I'm not the only one moving forward. I'm not the only one. That's how I define it.
Go back to 2020. Even though it was a pandemic and it was COVID, people don't care. All they know is they got stimulus checks with his name on it, and that's what they remember. And so people think about that. When you have conversations with folks, they be like, yo, I remember how 2020 felt. And they think that they're going to feel that.
I don't know how y'all do it in y'all counties, but in my county,
in this next term.
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain? I mean, he obviously swept the battleground states. He drove up, turnout around the country in Republican areas, but he did much better than he had done before in places like Chicago, Brooklyn, Queens.
Because of dinner table issues. It's literally that simple. Every day, people wake up and all they want to do is have more money in their pocket and they want to feel safe. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever religion you are. Those are the two things that you're thinking about every day. How can I keep some money in my pocket and how can I stay safe? And when you look at, issues like the economy, when you look at the border, and that's what I was telling people. We had this conversation back in February. I was having conversations with folks and they was telling me, oh my God, these gangs are coming into our neighborhood and I know it's because of the border. We got to close the border. Like they were having these conversations. And I told you, John, this was the first time in my life that I heard people in my community, black people, brown people, having those conversations. So that was going to be an issue. They felt like things were safer. They felt like the border was safer, under Trump. And by the way, it's not like the Democrats didn't want border security. They just didn't know how to message it right.
So that explains the 21 million people that came in during Kamala Harris's administration. Somebody said, what did somebody say up here? Something about you can't say that on the radio or something like that. Can't say coot coot on the radio. What did y'all used to call it? What do y'all tell y'all kids? It depends on if you're getting mad at them. It depends. Like if you holding somebody accountable and you're just a young person and you're talking to them and you say, hey man, what? You better put that little snatch up. That's what we used to call it. That's what they used to say in church.